Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V, where we are intentional about connecting you with other entrepreneurs that have overcome and want to provide value to the audience. It's Dr. V here. Wow. Connect computers anywhere around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our featured guest today is Coach April, who I absolutely love. So, Coach April, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yes. So thank you so much, Dr. V. It is such an honor to be with you today. I'm super stoked. I'm excited. I'm happy, all of those good things. So, because I just love you as well. But for those of you out there, good morning, wherever you are. I guess I should say, maybe not morning, but I am Coach April. I am the owner and founder of Kingdom Power Living, and I have the amazing opportunity to help business owners lose their goal weight, love their bodies, and live the life that God designed for them to live, all without the gym and fad diets. I'm also an author, a speaker, and a mindset strategist because it really starts with as you know, Dr. V, we've heard the 6 inches up here, right, between these ears to get us in our own way. And so I am all about us living in the no excuse zone and getting out of our own way.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. So, let me ask you, so did you start in exercise first, or or not exercise? So you say you do it without exercise or without the gym?
Without the gym,
Okay,
because
so
we gonna eliminate all of the excuses, right? We don't need the gym. And what we realized recently, right, over the last couple of years, when the gyms like shut down, we got paralyzed, right? People were like, what to do? We were stuck in our homes and all of that. And I'm like, you know what? You don't need the gym in order to get to your weight loss goals. You don't need the gym in order to live a healthy and whole life. What you need is to renew this up here and to get moving. And of course, what you're eating definitely makes a difference, but you don't need the gym. It's okay to go to the gym. It could be a bonus, but we're eliminating that as an excuse.
so now what are the things that you recommend? Like, give me a couple of them.
Mhm. So, first of all, I recommend committing for real, for real. Because if you don't make a decision and really commit, then you're never going to like get the success that you want. I mean, we know that in so many areas of our lives, in business, in school, right? In just in life in general, if we don't commit, we're not going to have the success that we want. And so that's the first thing. It's really committing, because so many times we start, we stop, we're on this hamster wheel. We're like, I tried to, eat right or whatever for a little bit. But once we shift our mind up here to say that this is like really a lifestyle, it's not about me like starting this, starving myself for 30, 60, 90, whatever days, and then going back to that same old person. It's like, that's really not going to help. But once we shift and realize that this is a lifestyle, like I'm doing this, right? I'm taking care of this one right here, then it helps us to know that I'm not just doing this thing, right? This is how I now live my life. And because I value myself, I think that I'm worth it. I take care of my temple, right? I tell
That's
people
right.
all the time, especially for my car lovers. I don't even know how many people out there really like cars, but you wouldn't put 87 in a Bentley, right? Um, it's like you wouldn't even put sugar in the Honda. You know what I'm saying?
That's
That's
right.
not what it goes. That's not what it does. But we eat so much sugar, even as a culture. I mean, like over the average American has consumes, and I know I'm talking to a bunch of nurses today, over 100 pounds of sugar per year. It's like
Wow.
between 90 and 100. That's like a
Wow.
person. I mean, a little person, but at the same time, it's like it's still a person for
Wow.
sugar. That's not helping our bodies. And then we wonder why, type 2 diabetes and, we're on insulin and like all of these different things. And now I know some things, are not caused by us, but the things that we can prevent, we should be preventing, especially as we take care of other people.
Now, tell me, I just want you to go through a typical day of eating, because
Okay.
I just if you could do that. So give me a
Yeah.
typical day of eating where you were eating good,
Yeah.
wholesome food. Because I believe, and you can tell me whether I'm wrong or not, I believe that it has to come from something like, the perimeter of the store, right? And so that's what I believe. So you go ahead, you tell me because you the expert.
So so that's like kind of some old school thinking, and I think
Okay,
that
okay.
is, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think stores have caught up with that particular mindset that we used to tell people, but stick to the perimeter of the store. That's where like the fruits and the vegetables and like all of those things. Well, I mean, the grocery stores that I go in sometimes that ain't always the case. They got the cookies and the snacks and things in different places because they want you to buy it. They're consumer goods companies. That's what they want you to consume the goods, whether or not it's good for you or not. So I would say a typical, just clean eating in general is less sugar as possible, especially white refined sugar, less processed foods as possible, right? And then I would say good like proteins that are going to be helpful for you. I'd say like if it's possible to do hormone free, antibiotic free, and things like that. But if that's not where you are, just start where you are. Start doing something. It might just be like those little bitty shifts, but you may have heard anything that's white, take it out. Take it like out of your diet. And so I say focus on things like whole ingredients. I'm really big on whether you're at the perimeter or whether you're on the inside, looking at ingredients. What do the ingredients say on a container? If it's in a container, it probably is not the best thing for you anyway. But I mean, packaging might be a little bit, different these days, right? Again, consumer goods company, they're good at what they do. But I'm like, look at the ingredients. How many ingredients does it have in there? Can you pronounce the ingredients? Okay.
That part.
Um, yeah. What's the first couple of ingredients, because those are going to be the dominant things in there. So it really is about being smart even in our shopping. So whether we're going to be at the perimeter, whether we're going to be on the inside, we have to be like super intentional about what we're doing, right? And not get off focus and not get distracted. And there's like, some accountability things that we can talk about. But when I work with my clients and through our programs, we have like, I call them the 3 M's, right? So it really is mindset, meals, and movement. So what are we really putting in our bodies? We should know what that is, whether that's we're doing it at home or even if we're going out to eat restaurants and things like that. Ask questions, be educated, know as much as possible what is in your food and what you're consuming in your body. And again, this isn't just to say that it's like going to be like this like all the time, because sometimes when we do think that there's too much pressure or we have this it has to be perfect thing, we either paralyze ourselves or we get tired of it, we get kind of burnt out of it. But that is also where the mindset shifts. It's like reset as much as possible, as quickly as possible, and kind of get back in there, because again, this is a lifestyle. This is not dieting. We've changed our diet, but this is not dieting.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And one of the things that I think is very key when you say the mindset shifts is huge, right? Because what you think, so it has to be very simplistic for me, right? We make all these decisions, and especially as entrepreneurs, right? We make
Mm,
all these decisions every single solitary day. I don't want to have to make that decision, right? And so I stick to a very simplistic way of living when it comes to
mm,
eating, right? So I kind of
mhm.
eat the same thing a lot, but it's good things that I eat a lot, right? And
Mhm.
so that's the deal, right?
Yeah. It is really about, I mean, that's one of the key things and first things we need to identify, like, is knowing yourself, right? You have to be truly like honest with the type of person that you are. Are you a person that's going to meal prep like every week?
No.
And if you know that you're like not that person, be honest with yourself. But if you got goals, you might have somebody meal prep it for you.
That's
I mean,
right.
you might, I mean, it may not be as far as a chef, which some people do have, and that's perfectly fine. But there, you have a meal prep company, so you know exactly what you're going to have when you're going to have it. It really is all about our goals. Like you say, even as entrepreneurs, we can say, okay, I want to hit this goal. Like, I want to have a 10K month, a 20K month, a 30K month, or whatever. It's the same thing with our health and our wellness. If we're trying to lose, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever, then we have to be working towards that goal. And we're always going to have to pay, whether it is in time or in money, probably both, but we are going to have to do it. But if you're that simplistic person and you're like, okay, I know that these are my goals. If I'm eating in this parameters, this is the things that if I'm going to eat, and I'm making this up, y'all, this is not a prescription. If I'm going to have, tuna and broccoli for dinner, I know that I'm going to have, a salad for lunch, and then for breakfast I'm going to have some scrambled eggs and bacon. Again, if you know that and that's what you're going to do, like, every single day, then know that, right? If
Right.
you need to change it up sometime because your body can get used to you having things, and if you're plateauing, we need to shift some things around, right?
Right.
But know yourself. Don't say like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, but I don't like meal prepping. And then you don't meal prep and you get out there and you're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to eat? Because I've just been in a meeting for 2 hours and I didn't plan this thing out. And so next thing you know, you're at Chick-fil-A. And I mean, I'm not hating on Chick-fil-A. I love, if you're gonna be any place, I'll be like, okay, with some Chick-fil-A. And there's some okay options, and even fast food place, but that's part of the strategy too. Like being ready and even knowing your places. Where can you go? Where can you not go? But that's part of the meal prepping,
That's
right? To
right.
kind of
That's right.
know what different even fast food joints that are by your office or that are by your whatever, that you can have certain things off the menu. But if you know that that's going to be a stumbling block for you, you you can't do it. You have to prep in some kind of way.
I
You're going to
love
have
it.
to do it.
I love, because the way that you just described meal prep is a little bit different than the original context, I think, of meal prep, right? Because normally meal prep, when I think of meal prep, I think of making the same meal, okay, the same meal, and you eat it for 5 days, which would drive me absolutely insane. Okay, I cannot. But when because no, no more, I don't really like leftovers, and so but when
Mm,
you think about it in that you I'm okay with having the same meal as long as you see I'm thinking about it and I can make
mhm.
that same meal. I know that that's what I'm going to eat today. Like the day before, like I already know what I'm eating today. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And
Yes.
so that type of meal prep is a little bit different than starting at the beginning of the week and Sunday you're saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I love
Mhm.
that. I love that. I
It's
love that.
it's both. It's meal prepping and meal planning. So whether
Ah,
again that's you planning out like your structure for what you're going to have, if that's you planning out your grocery list and you go into the grocery store and you knowing that these are the things that you're going to cook, it doesn't have to be the same thing every day. Again, you knowing what type of person that you are, whether you're going to plan out your meals for the entire week, which is something that I do recommend, whether you just write it down or whether or not just what you're going to go to, because again it just helps us overcome surprises when things don't go the way that we want them to go. We have a plan in place, because when we don't have a plan in place, I mean, what is the saying? Those that don't plan to fail.
that's right.
It's like, so it's just being more strategic about this, like we do the other areas in our lives, like we do in our businesses, right? Like we do in our homes. When we plan for our kids, right? We know that even when we're new moms or something like that, we plan diaper bags and milk bottles and like all of those things. That's, we have to plan for ourselves like that too, right? So again, whether you purchase pre-prep meals already and you're going to have a variety for the rest of the week, you do that. Whether it's you're going to pick out a day on Sunday and kind of put some things together or plan it out, that's whatever works for you. We have to figure out a system that works for you. And that's why I don't really do like one size, fits all. I mean, there's a general template, but my clients are they're unique. We're all different. So it's not that it's going to be the same for everybody. We work with a template and then we see what works for you, because I have some clients that they're not going to cook. And I mean, to be 100 with y'all, I'm one of those people. I'm not really going to cook. I'm just saying, I'm not, but I can plan, right? So if I know that when I'm going to the grocery store, I'm gonna get some chicken that's already prepared. I'm gonna make sure that I have, my veggies exactly. I'm gonna have me a good complex carbohydrate, have a sweet potato, whatever it is. I'm planning those things out and knowing what's gonna work within my lifestyle, right? What's gonna work within my either busy lifestyle or my simplistic lifestyle, like you said. We have to be honest with ourselves. We got to know what works with us. And then we got to like work it and be committed to it. That is the main thing. Like knowing what works, sticking with that, and being committed to it.
I love, love, love that. I think that that's probably the reason why we're friends, is because I'm not going to cook a whole bunch either. So we're kindreds in that spirit. So let me tell you the reason why I love what you're doing. And the reason why is because of the fact that when I first started the Nurse Nurturer, one of the things that it was, there were five pillars of the Nurse Nurturer. That's family, fitness, finance, spirituality, and leadership. And
Come on.
the reality is that if you, as nurses, so if I go into help, if I go into and I try to take care of my patients, right, and I don't have that self care intact, if I don't have
Mhm.
that ability to be able to think through, because what you put in your mouth, I
Mm,
I promise you, it affects your thinking. Okay.
I promise you too.
It affects your thinking. And so we have to be very intentional about what we eat, okay, all the time. And so that's number one. Number two, actually started out running because of mental health, right? I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have better mental health. I wanted to be able to recover. And it was one morning, and I never forget it. I was on the way to the gym, and this is when I was married to my husband. But I was on the way to the gym, and he was going with me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I knew I was exhausted. Like I didn't want to go to that gym. Had I been in that car alone, I would have been like, okay, let's go back home, right? But I did, right? And so I got in there, I got on the treadmill, and 10 minutes in,
10
I was
minutes.
like, it's go time, right?
Come on.
Because it does that, right? It increases those endorphins, okay, that feel good
Mhm.
for you. And so it is super, super important, especially when you're taking care of complex patients, all right? Or you're taking care of your business. Business is complex, can be complex at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yes. Yes, yes. So I love so much about what you said. So first of all, you said the nurturer.
yes,
How can we be nurturers if we're not nurturing ourselves,
that
right?
part.
Because I mean, realistically, it's going to catch up with us. Even if we don't see it right now, it eventually is going to catch up with us. I mean, even we think about natural things around the house, there's like natural wear and tear, right? But when you take the time to put some effort and take care of something, it lasts longer, right? If
Right.
you take care of your body will perform for you. Now, I mean, you mentioned, the kind of faith piece in there, and I'm like, okay, you guys, if we go for real, like say that we believe, the Bible, it's all throughout the scriptures about us taking care of our bodies. Paul
That's right.
said, I buffet my body, right? In one translation, it says, I discipline my body. Less me having been out there preached and, helping other people. I'm going to say you preach for nurses helping other people after I've been out there helping everybody else, then I myself become a castaway, right? I
Right.
become disqualified. I'm doing all of this for taking care of my patient and taking care of them well, but neglecting me. That's not going to stand. That is not us like believing, first of all, like what the scriptures say, right?
Right.
Our actions will always follow our beliefs. But the other thing that you mentioned too is like really you're and I I mentioned this on social media the other day. I kind of maybe went on a rant, but it's like your body,
Not you, not
your
you.
somebody else that looked like me, maybe. But your body, your flesh is never gonna just want to do anything. I mean, not even mine. It's like no, you do not just want to inherently do what is, right. Because we're used to comfort, we're used to like all of the things. We have to actually make ourselves do things. We have to tell our body and our flesh like what to do. Even now, some people they're naturally can get up in the morning, but some people that's a struggle. You have to make yourself like get up. Some people might be the opposite way. They're natural like late night people, but some people it's like you have to make yourself go to bed. Our flesh, our bodies, they are not necessarily going to want to do the thing that we're supposed to do, but we control them. They
That's
don't
right.
control us. We control our bodies. We say, okay, you're going to the gym, and then we do it. Even if we don't necessarily feel like it, once we, like you said, get into the practice of it, we do. We release all of those things. We release stress. We release like all of those things that are not really helping our bodies. We get that mind clarity, all of that brain fog from even like that's why all of the components go together. That's why it's the meals, the mindset, and the movement, because the things that we're eating make us lethargic, breaks down our immune system. We know this, kind of as nurses. Again, I mentioned the sugar, the processed foods, the quick things like that, which there could be some quick, healthier things, but that's having an effect on our body. And if again, we don't release those things, even like toxins through like detoxing and cleanses and things like that, which we don't talk about as much in the health and wellness space, but all of those are components to the puzzle, right? It's like having all of those different things, and not to overwhelm us, but again, to liken that to business, or to liken that to a biblical or Christian perspective. It's like we know that we're in this thing for the long haul, and it's not going to be easy. I mean, everything is hard until it becomes easy. You
That's
have to
right.
build up that muscle,
That's right.
and you have to like keep going. But the only way that you'll do that is by not giving up on you. You're worth it.
That's right. And I love how you don't have a one size fits all program. So tell us about your program.
Yeah, so it is a 12-week program, and we're basically, like I said, we're talking about things for the mindset. So we're really getting our identities right. Some of us have experienced, things in our lives, traumatic or, whatever level it is that has impacted us, right? Stress eating, things that happen in our past where we're like guilt eating or shame or different things like that. And so we really like unpeel those things, the mindset, the identity, and things like that. The meals, we like talk about like what kind of foods are going to fuel our body versus tear them down. Again, I keep saying this over and over and over, but like the sugars and the processed foods and things with a lot of like chemicals and additives and those things like that, they're not helping our body because our bodies were not designed to take those things. But as we continue to pile them in our body and don't do things like to detox or to flush them out, it's just like building up. It's kind of like never getting an oil change in your car, right? Eventually something not good is gonna happen. And then the movement piece of it, it's like we have to, I'm gonna use the E word, like exercise, right? It doesn't have, I mean, because for
It's a
real,
bad word. Bad word.
I know, right? Like I'm cussing when I say that word. So I'm like, movement, workout, that kind of thing. But it's like we have to do that because moving our body, one, it makes it stronger. Two, we talked about this, like it helps relieve stress and
Right.
the endorphins, like all of those things that are necessary for our body to function at an optimal level. And so we really focus on those three things throughout the program. And obviously, I'm coaching you along the way in a group coaching atmosphere so that we have community and so that we have like all of the other things that we're needing. But there's a high level of accountability. And then there's a lot of, consistency because we're really building up those reps. We're building up those reps. We're building up those reps. We're building up those reps so that this is a lifestyle and it's not just like, oh, I'm on a program.
So now, what is the result that they should get from your program?
Yeah, so I mean, you're gonna see obviously inches lost, right? Because you're gonna shift in what you've been consuming, right? You're gonna see yourself more confident. You're gonna see like your mindset shift, the way that you kind of used to think about yourself. We're talking about like working on our identity, right? First of all, we want to see ourselves the way that Christ sees us, right? And a lot of times that is a barrier for us. That's why we don't really, in my opinion, take care of ourselves, because as I mentioned earlier, the things that we value, we take care of. When we realize that we're worth, the investment of taking care of ourselves, then that changes everything,
So
right?
I want you to come back. I want you to come back, Coach.
Okay.
I want you to say this.
Okay, okay, okay.
What we value, we take care of.
What we value, we take care of.
And this is the whole thing. Because I think that what we're not clear, I think sometimes we're not clear is that our body, we get one of them.
One. Only one.
That's it. We ain't
Only
getting that
one.
up. And so because we only get one, then it is imperative that we every day choose to, pour into ourselves, right? Because when we go to the bedside, okay, and when your audience, whenever they go to the church, okay, whenever they go to the church, they pour out, pour out, pour out. And we talked about this previously, but then you're not pouring back
We
into
don't come back
yourself.
in. Yeah, we're back into ourselves. Yeah.
You're
And
not
the
pouring
thing
from your saucer. You're pouring from your cup, and your cup is going to get
is
depleted.
empty. Yes, exactly. And the thing is, when we put back into us, there's more that we can do. There's
That,
more that we can do, because it's like, I mean, there's studies that show that people that are healthier, they make more money, they're happier,
mm-hmm,
they're more confident,
mm-hmm.
and they have like more impact, right? If you don't have the energy, right? And I mean, I've had like, clients tell me this before, like, I know I need to get right because God has called me to a global like mission to do like other things. And we know we have traveling nurses and like all of these things. Just having enough energy and not being winded walking through the airport. We don't even think about things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like the stamina and all of the things that we need to play with the kids and the grandkids. I mean,
That's
I
right.
was talking to one woman one time, and she was like, it's really hurting me that I have to tell my grandson, like, not now, like later,
Wow.
when he wants to, play with me. Like, I can't even like get up and play with him because I don't have the energy, and I have like this extra weight on me that is not serving me. It's not serving us.
Right.
It's not serving us in so many different ways. I mean, like we said, our mental, our confidence, like all of those things together, it's not really serving us. But when we're that, we can help other people do that, whether it's really taking care of them physically as a nurse, whether that's really telling our story, our testimony,
Mm-hmm.
right? As whether that's like sharing like other tips of our health and our wellness, like helping to educate others. And this is a big one that we don't really think about. Our children, our kids, they're watching us. They're watching
That's
what we
right.
consume.
That's
They're
right.
watching what we do. And we're passing down either those good behaviors or those negative behaviors for them too, because childhood obesity is also a real thing. And I was just at a summit speaking on that the other day, and just the statistics around that, it's awful. And again, these are the little ones that we say that we care about. What we value, what we think is worthy, we will take care of. And so we have to shift those things, because we're talking about legacy as entrepreneurs, right?
That's right.
Legacy that goes beyond just finances. Your legacy is what you're passing along to your kids. And we can get all of the bag and all the coin and like all of that. But if we are not here to spend it, then okay, I mean,
What's
did
the
we
point?
really do what we were supposed to do?
Right.
Exactly. And
Right.
what are we leaving our kids? Now they just have a memory of us and some money. That's not what we want.
Right.
That's not what we want.
I love that. I love that. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to just just sit and talk to you because I love you. Absolutely love you. And so tell us where we can find you so that
Yes.
for your coaching.
Yes. Okay. So if you want to connect, so one thing I want to do just before I know that we're out of time, but I want to bring this up. Okay, so this is my book, Soaring in Your Faith and Fitness. And I want to read something out of here really quick and talk about foundation. So laying a proper foundation is critical. If the journey is not built on Christ, it won't stand, as the scriptures definitely tells us. The winds will blow and on the house and it will not stand, right?
Uh-huh.
The only one that will stand is the one that's built on the solid rock. And it says, therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him unto a wise man who built his house on a rock. The rains ascended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on the house, and it did not fall. Having a firm and solid foundation is what's going to help keep you in the game. That is what's going to stand. The other things, if it's not firm, it will not stand. So, with that being said, if you want to connect with me, go to loseweightloveyourbody.com.
Love it.
Loseweightloveyourbody.com.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, guys, go out there and connect with Coach April because she's absolutely phenomenal. And so we have the Nurse Recharge Summit that's coming up again. It's going to be September 13th, I do believe. It will be again on a virtual platform. We've been learning how to recharge and how to transition into entrepreneurship. So if you choose, you can join us. I ask that you like and share this podcast with someone that you know, someone that you love. And you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day.